Welcome back, you guys. I'm FC. This is Blue Lines TV, and today I'm bringing you guys a pretty big news daily video. Now, for today's stories, I'll be focusing on the latest surrounding Alex Telles. I'll be talking about the return of Loftus and how he performed in last night's game. I'll be talking about the Donnarumma links, and of course, I'll be talking about Marcos Alonso and a potential move to Inter Milan or even Barcelona. So if you like today's video, if you want to get that win for tonight, then smash that like button. I'm hoping we can get 2,000 likes for today's video. And you guys, to start off with things, let's talk about Ruben and his return last night. Now for me, I thought he returned back in a very confident manner. Now, I watched the game on the club's official app last night. I thought the quality was pretty good. The stream was perfect. There was no issues at all. And, it's quite convenient. But anyway, without plugging that, I don't know why I did. Loftus, he started the game pretty quietly. Now, there were tactical reasons for this. For some reason, we were really packing the midfield. It was too congested in the middle, and of course, players just weren't getting enough consistent touches of the ball. However, when second half subs came on, when Ruben, who's a very impressive right wing back playing for us, very pacey, very good, very direct, when he came on, it helped us stretch the game more, provide more width. And once that happened, then we could start to see some of the old things that Ruben was doing last season. Now, a few times he went on his customary runs from deep, and my god, this guy just looks like an absolute tank. I felt sorry for some of these young Everton boys. They were literally just flying off him. Ruben was like, "You shall not pass." He was running through them, players are bouncing off him, and that's the type of physical qualities that we are missing in our midfield. And it's quite crazy when you think that Ruben wasn't using his physicality or his strength before. If it wasn't for Eddie Howe telling him to start using his strength when he's running with the ball, would we see this type of elegance mixed with strength? I'm not too sure, and I think that adjustment in this game has made him an even more effective player. His impact was starting to grow more and more as the second half went on, and naturally, it was Ruben that was involved in the deciding goal that won the game. He won the key penalty that Luke McCormick then converted, and you're thinking to yourself, is Ruben going to complete a full 90 minutes? And is this the best thing to do? Because of course we couldn't play a 90-minute game without there being one scary moment. When the game was near its end, there was a moment where Ruben was caught by a late tackle. It was kind of like a 50-50 collision. It was quite unfortunate, but still, you see that it hurts his ankle. He's down, and you're thinking to yourself, please God, how can you give us Ruben to then take him away? I was starting to feel that same pain when, what am I talking about? When Jeremy Boga got subbed off to bring on Christensen, that really pained me that day, you guys. But in the end, everything was okay, and I thought to myself, well, it was very good that Ruben is feeling very confident. Being out for a while hasn't affected his competitive edge, his competitive mentality. He's still going in for these key 50-50 tackles, and that's exactly what he's going to have to do once he plays for the first team. So things are looking good for him, you guys. And on that point, we move on to the big story for today, and that's the latest in regards to what the hell's happening with Alex Telles. Now, the funny thing is, it was only one small tweet. One little small tweet released by Gregory. I honor this. And you might be thinking to yourself, okay, why does this guy matter? Why should we care? People are tweeting crazy stuff all the time on Twitter for clout, for likes, for retweets. You know how the game goes. Why should we care about what this guy says? Well, he's actually an established football lawyer. Financially, things aren't looking too great for FC Porto. Today they released their figures and they have a net loss of 51.9 million. Last year, they only recorded a profit of 7.2 million. Their operating revenue is down by 50%. Now this excludes the players, and it's currently set at 52.2 million compared to the 107 million from last year. As I'm saying, things are looking terrible for FC Porto right now. Their stock prices are plummeting as we're speaking. They need to sell to balance the books. And reports are suggesting that FC Porto may be willing to sell Telles for up to 25 to even 20 million pounds to get a quick deal to help balance the books. Now this is great news, and of course when we have Marina, an opportunist at his finest, you just know that we're going to be sweeping in there to get something wrapped up. Now, it doesn't surprise me. FC Porto have been kind of mediocre in the Portuguese league, and when it comes to negotiating with them to sign players, well, our big clubs getting put off. How many times do you have to negotiate with the third parties just to sign any player from that region? And is that working against these clubs? Because if you think about it, when's the last time big players have left FC Porto to sign for the big clubs? It hasn't happened for a while, guys. Reports have already suggested we've set a German offensive to sign the player. Gregory states that we're already talking about business between FC Porto. You know, things are starting to indicate that it's looking like a very real possibility that Alex Telles is going to be a Chelsea player for next season. Now, from this point on, I'll give some of my thoughts and opinions. I've been hearing some things myself, and I've been hearing that maybe the club will put off Leicester City's asking price for Ben and mix him with some of his mediocre performances. It's not really painting a big picture or a strong argument for why the club need to spend 60 million to sign the player. But with Alex Telles, you know, having an original release clause of 40 million euros going down by half price, that's like one of the greatest ever sales on a player for how long? Like 50% off Telles. That's what we're basically getting, you guys, 50% off Telles. And I know that I'm speaking a bit too gas. I'm getting a bit too excited, but do you guys ever get that feeling yourself sometimes when, you know, you read about deals, you hear about things, and it just makes sense. You just get the impression that the player is going to sign and it's a guaranteed thing. I think the last time I got a similar vibe was when we signed Ashley Cole. Now, when he was at Arsenal, I think all of us knew at the time that Cole was going to be a Chelsea player. He was going to play for us. He was going to sign for us. It was like when you look at all the criterias, you can like checklist every single one of them, and every single criteria is met 100%. With Telles, his price is ridiculous. He's in his prime. He's one of the best players in Europe in his position as well. He can benefit and add to the team tactically. I mean, for God's sake, imagine the amount of assists that him and Ziyech could provide for the team. I mean, these two players alone are transforming and adding more imagination to our attacks, more quality in the final third. Having a fullback like him is only going to help out your winger. I remember reading something from Luis Campos about Premier League clubs' transfer strategies. You know, if you sign a winger, most times you have to back them up with a quality fullback option. Now, when you look at the big clubs across Europe, you'll see that they have a quality winger with a quality fullback behind them. In the Premier League, it's not always the case. So imagine what Telles is going to do for a young Pulisic, a young Hudson-Odoi, and potentially another signing as a replacement for your Williams or your Pedros. I mean, this is top quality stuff, you guys. And I just really feel like this signing is going to happen. Yeah, I know that Paris Saint-Germain and Juventus are two clubs looking at the player as well, but we already have history with his agent. We've already come close to signing the player already. Imagine signing him and Ziyech for 56 million. This is unbelievable business in today's market. One player alone costs 56 million. We've got one player and we're potentially signing a second one that's going to upgrade how we play. Things are looking very good, you guys. But anyway, we now move on to the third story for today, and that's the latest in regards to Donnarumma links from AC Milan. Now, this is another report that first circulated from Twitter from Italian journalist Nicolo Sciarra. Since then, it's circulated across all the media outlets, and he's reporting that AC Milan could look to sell Donnarumma to help balance their books. You know, since they've been taken over by Chinese investors and since they've been affected by financial fair play, AC Milan are currently on a very delicate balancing job, and if they were to sell one of their prized assets in Donnarumma, a player that could command a lot of money for them, could a Donnarumma signing happen? Now, Sciarra reports that us, Juventus and Real Madrid have had contact with his agent Mino Raiola. Now, you guys know that we have a previous history with the agent. There was some bad blood between him and the club in regards to that Lukaku deal. You know, he did move his client to Man United in the end, but do these reports indicate that maybe the relationship has become a lot more civil? I mean, Raiola is a businessman. He's going to look for opportunities to sell his players so he can earn money from their transfer fee. I mean, that's how it works. He gets his agent fee from the deals, and that's how it goes, you guys. So money could be the deciding factor in potentially allowing us to sign the player. If you're Donnarumma, if you're looking at your options across Europe, why would he go to Real Madrid to compete with Courtois? Why would he go to Paris Saint-Germain to compete with Navas? You know, at big clubs, if you make mistakes, they don't have any patience for you. You'll be kicked out the team. That could affect your confidence. And is that something you need? If you look at our situation, we have a keeper in Kepa, the most expensive keeper in the world, who hasn't been performing to a consistent class this season, being at fault for maybe a bit too many goals. If you're Donnarumma, you must be thinking to yourself, I can compete against this guy and I can win his place. I mean, Donnarumma, it feels like he's a veteran. He made his debut at 16, he's 21, he's been playing for 5 years. I mean, I can't remember a keeper since maybe David De Gea, who's been playing as a goalkeeper from a very young age. And with Donnarumma in that sense, could Donnarumma be the perfect player to invest in? Because even if he doesn't make it due to his age, you could still command money from the player. Raiola knows how to sell his players to clubs. So in that sense, doesn't it offset the risk? I mean, I'm quite flexible when it comes to keepers. My personal preference, I like Strakosha from Lazio, I like Gulacsi from RB Leipzig. Henderson looks like quite a decent keeper from Sheffield United as well. And of course, I like Onana from Ajax because I think his passing out from the back is very good. Donnarumma is a good keeper, has a very good all-round game. But if he signed for us, signing for a better team, could he find a new level? I think so. So in the comment section below, you tell me whether you'd like to see us signing Donnarumma, and if not, state the goalkeeper of your preference and tell me why in the comment section below. And boys, on that note, we end with the final story for today, and that's in regards to Marcos Alonso. Now, this report seems to come out every single month from Italy. It's coming out from Calcio Mercato, and they're reporting again that Inter Milan have not given up on trying to sign Marcos Alonso. Now, at this point in time, Morris does have an injury. Ashley Young has been a decent short-term replacement, but they're thinking to the long term. They're thinking about the future. Conte and Italian managers in general love to work with players that they've previously worked with. If Conte signed Alonso, you don't have to tell the player how the system works. I mean, he understands it already, and he upgrades that position for Inter Milan. Currently, this season, Alonso has had decent form. You know, he has had some bad games, but he has had some very good games as well. But the thing with Alonso is that you don't get that consistency. And to be a world-class player, to be one of the best top-class players, you need to have that consistency in your game. We are quite limited too, in the sense that to get the best out of Alonso, you have to use a wing-back system. So it's great that his form has picked up. I'm sure that Inter Milan are looking at the player with very, very close eyes. And it seems like Barcelona are another club looking at the player as well. Now, there were previous reports back in the day that Barcelona were actually considering Marcos Alonso as a centre-back. Now, maybe it makes sense. I mean, they've done it time and time again, with Abidal, for example, being a player that played as a centre-back and a left-back. And with how much possession of the ball Barcelona have, could he be an option? Maybe, but if you're asking me, I feel like Alonso would probably go back to Inter Milan, where he's playing first team football, working under a coach where he got the best football out of him as well, and of course playing in Italy on a big contract, playing for a long time. It seems like it makes sense. And if we sell Alonso for what is reported to be a 30 million valuation, which is really good and really affordable, then we're basically paying off the Telles deal. Can you imagine that? We're selling Marcos Alonso and we still have profit on top of the deal after signing Telles. This is why sometimes you have to be patient, because opportunities like this, they come in the market, you never foresee it happening, but they do. And if you play patient, if you wait for the best options all the time, then you can be rewarded. So you guys, on that note, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. Of course, later on tonight, there is going to be the match review to our game against Liverpool in the FA Cup. So make sure you're there. And on that point, I'm going to keep things moving. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe. I'm the EFC. This is Blue Line CV. I'll catch you guys in a bit.